Next week, we'll be discussing The Witch from 2015. Chris, how was your watch?
This is my second or third time watching this film, and it was my choice. I like this film a lot. Uh, I always like films that kind of play with the is it, isn't it? And when we get into the conversation about this film next week, I think that'll be part of something that we can talk about. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. I realize it's not a blockbuster. You're going to be riveted at the edge of your seat the entire time, but it's definitely spooky and creepy, and we're in the fall, and it just feels like the right movie for the right time. And it's not for everybody, but I mean, I dig it. I enjoy it, and it's got a really I like that era, that like 15, 16, 1700s, I don't know, United States, before the United States, actually, America. And I just think that's a really creepy time. And this movie ratchets up that creep factor and like has a lot of, I don't want to call it innuendo, but has a lot of like, is that true or is it not true? And I like that kind of interpretive film in that way. I get out of it what I want, and the person sitting next to me gets out of it what they want, and it could be two totally different experiences. And my wife was very much a different experience because she hated this movie, but I loved it. So that's all that matters for me, I guess. What about you, KJ? What'd you think?
Yeah, this was the first watch for me, Chris. I hadn't heard of it till you had brought it up. So I had no idea what to expect. And audience, I think this movie might be best approached like a restaurant that doesn't serve food. Just is the vibe good? Like sit with the movie. Don't worry about the plot. Don't worry about character development. Just let the vibe wash over you. It's eerie, it's creepy. Just be with the movie. And Chris, I agree. The fall, this is a great time to watch this because we're coming up on like the darker season. It's almost winter. The days are getting darker. Things are a little eerier, and I feel like this movie progresses towards that. How about you, Tom? How was your watch?
I have watched this simply for this episode. I hadn't seen it before. I think I had started it and something interrupted me. I will say the mood, the atmosphere, the ambiance is very thick. I will also say I don't entirely understand this movie. It seems to not entirely, it doesn't seem to be entirely sure of what it is. And I found the director's direction and what he included or how he describes or how he frames the movie to be somewhat confused and confusing. That being said, there is a lot in it that is very effective. It is very creepy. There is ways in which the scenes are shot, which are interesting and effective. They use a very odd aspect ratio, a 1:661 aspect ratio to give it this kind of height. The movie has this sort, it always feels like you're seeing more of the borders that are out of focus, which is a very intense kind of creepy feel while simultaneously being claustrophobic. So there is a great deal of skill going into the making of this movie, but it's framed in a certain way that I will admit I just don't understand what the director is going. And I think he's going back and forth between two ideas or two concepts of the story that I I don't think quite work. And we could talk about that more next week.
The Witch is available on Max at the time of this recording.